Welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to inspire you and transform you as a young person to become better and understand Uganda better as a nation, but also contribute to this country's development. This show is here to make sure that as a young person, as a youth of purpose, and today as we celebrate International Men's Day, you being a youth of purpose, you can be able to become a man of purpose. And to discuss all this today, I'm with a strong man, but also a gentleman, Major General Katumba Wamala. Welcome to Youth of Purpose.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself to the viewer.
I'm General Katumba Wamala, the Chief Commissioner of the Uganda Scouts Association. I'm here at CAS also to come and celebrate the International Men's Day.
So, first of all, why is it important for us to celebrate International Men's Day? We've been seeing all years people celebrating International Women's Day, Girl Child Day, Youth Day. Why is it important this time around for us to celebrate Men's International Day?
I think the Men's International Day has been being observed yearly, but it had not gained some prominence. That's I think what I would say.
Yes.
But I think now it's gaining prominence because we are all realizing that we can't talk about women and we don't talk about men. So there has been a lot of focus on girl child, and we think that it's high time we also brought the boy child up to the level where the girl child is.
Sure. So one of the biggest challenges that the country faces, and not only Uganda but also Africa as a continent, is gender-based violence and a lot of other issues. And at most times the perpetrators are men. So why is it important at a moment like this one to empower the boy child?
Yeah, I think one of the things which we need to, there's been this, especially on the African continent, there is the culture. That culture feel that man is muscular, man is you don't talk about man is stereotyping that the man is the authority. If he says this, that's it.
Yes.
And that for you to be able to show your manship, for example in the home, then you must be able to batter your wife with.
Or even when you're facing something hard, you don't have to cry.
You don't have to cry. As a man, you don't cry. As a man, you don't submit to some pressure. But I think the world is changing. Cultures have to change. We have to move with the world as it moves. Right now you'll find women, ladies, as highly educated, if not more, than men. And sometimes if we don't now, if you see what has been happening now, is that many of the girl children, especially like corporate ladies, they're very confident. They can stand on their own. When she stands up to talk, you really see somebody who has control of herself. Now, if we don't likewise prepare our boys to match them, then you are going to find a marriage where the wife is very confident.
Actually,
and the man is
that's already happening. People, men fear marrying such kind of ladies.
Exactly. They fear going in for corporate ladies because they think, the corporate ladies
are hard to manage because they think they should manage them.
Because they think they should manage. But why do you manage somebody's like manage yourself and partner with her to bring up a family? And that should be the focus.
And how are we going to be able to do that? What initiatives can be done right now? Speak to the government, but also speak to the young boy out there.
Exactly. I think like in our case, if I may use our association, the Scouts Association, already we had, for us in scouting, we had already started on that. That we prepare boys to have very good character. And because now in our association we also have girls, we have made them understand that boys and girls can work at par and they can be able to do things. Because previously they thought what boys can do, girls can do. But now in our association, when we do here, for example, when we come to camp for camping, whatever the boy does is what the girl does. So that has helped to bridge the gap between that gender disparity.
A simple question, Geno. Should we focus on equality or equity? Because honestly, not everything a man can do, a woman can do.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's equity, because if you say equality, then I think that's why I think there's some misconception by the original drivers of
feminism,
women's empowerment and women's equality.
Yes.
So they and then the men felt threatened. What are you meaning? You want to be equal to me in my home?
Honestly, it's a fear factor.
Yeah, so I think we need that one will be over time.
Yes.
Cultures take long to change, but I think over time we shall get used to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we strike a balance? Because now I think there must have been a reason why at first women were being empowered. For example, as government, there is affirmative action and stuff. So how are we going to strike a balance as we empower young boys?
Yeah,
to make sure
in Uganda, I think there was imbalance.
Imbalance, yeah.
Where the girls, the women, were considered to be just people who should be behind there in the kitchen.
Yes.
Cook food, wash for the man, do everything for the man, but not appear. But I think that is changed. That's why government came out to say no. Let the women also show their potential, and they have been able to show their potential, and we have seen a lot of potential in them.
Thank you so much, General.
That's a good role.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Still right here on Youth of Purpose, we are celebrating International Men's Day, and we are trying to digest why we should celebrate this day and why the boy child needs to be empowered. And you'll be asking yourself, we're empowering boys, we're empowering men, why speaking to a woman? Now we're going to be talking to the Ambassador of the United States to Uganda, Ambassador Brown. Welcome to Youth of Purpose.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much. This might sound as new to some Ugandans. We haven't seen, celebrating Men's Day come to light to the media and stuff. Why should we celebrate International Men's Day?
I think, what's important about celebrating International Men's Day is about celebrating Uganda's greatest resource, and that is its people. And particularly, today the theme is empowering adolescents so that they can be successful, contributing members of society. And it takes all kinds of people in a society, so you shouldn't exclude one group. So as much as we've focused on girls in society and some of the support that they need, boys and young men need that as well. And so that is what today is about, is raising that awareness and reminding people that in order for this country to continue to develop, for its young people to be successful, you have to pay attention to both sexes.
Men are so much looked at to be a stronger gender, and despite of the challenges they do go through, sometimes they keep quiet. Men go through sexual harassment and gender-based violence and a lot more, but most times they don't come out to speak out. What can be done to empower the boy child?
Well, I'm glad you raised the importance of gender-based violence. And there are 2 points that I want to make. Next week, starting on November 25th, it's the annual 16 days of campaign of violence against women, but it's more than violence against women. It's trying to eradicate violence from society. But what you've talked about violence against boys and young men, it's something that the United States is actually working on here in Uganda. And I had the privilege of launching in Wakiso in May a campaign, a program called No Means No that empowers both boys and girls, but a lot of young men are involved in the program. I think it's 7,000 in 3 districts to raise their awareness about violence, about sexual-based violence, about harassment. And what it does, it stifles your confidence, it makes them shy. I mean, it has a lasting impact. And when I was at the launch, looking at some of the training sessions, there was one young man there who had been the victim of abuse, and he shared that with everyone else was there, and you could see how deeply it affected him. And by him speaking out, he was able to get the treatment and the support and the care that he needed. But it was so important to share that for the other young men so that they know that they are not alone and there are resources available to them. So it's important to address this because, as I said, it has lifelong lasting impact. And that has ramifications for the society, for the community, for the country's development if you have people who are suffering internally and are not able to get the support and the medical treatment that they need.
Well, Ambassador, what would be your last message to a young man out there? What would you say to them to become empowered?
I would say to participate in activities like this. We were talking about scouting today. It's so important in building up confidence and learning skills. And also to recognize that there are important roles in society for both men and women. Men play an important part of this. They need to support their sisters, their cousins, their aunts, their neighbors who are girls, and they also need to support other boys. It takes everyone working together if we're going to develop and have a economically thriving and successful community.
Lastly, a balance between equity and equality. Many of people who do advocacy do mix out the two. How can we balance to make sure that as we empower the men and empower the women, we have a striking balance?
I think part of it is just recognizing that at times the needs are different. Even today we were just talking about the impact of COVID and schools being closed and the number of children and young people who've been out of school. And the effect is different. You know, young men may be working in communities, but we see so many young women who are now young mothers. Okay. And so they have different needs. And so that's where equity comes in terms of addressing the different needs of each sex. But equality is making sure that everyone has the same opportunities and that they're not deprived opportunities for education, for employment, or participation in society based on their gender.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ambassador Brown, for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Yes, you're still right here on Youth of Purpose, and we are celebrating International Men's Day right here on UBC and U24 TV. Now we're going to be talking to someone who is going to share with us his personal story, which he's so much passionate about, and we are going to be able to learn from this. A young child, a young boy out there, I believe you're going to learn from this story and be able to be inspired. I'm so glad to be talking to you.
I'm so glad to be talking.
You're a great man.
Thank you so much.
And you're a gentleman.
Thank you so much.
You love so much to talk about who a gentleman is. Kindly tell us, who is a gentleman to you?
A gentleman is any person who is considerate in manner or respectful.
Kindly, what's your name?
I'm called Ayevale John Mary from Uganda Scouts Association.
What was your childhood like?
My childhood was very, very nasty and it was so challenging. I used to even I happened to raise my siblings, but in a way of doing that, remember you do not have parents.
Wow.
Because I lost my parents very early. I lost my father when I was at 4 years, at the age of 4 years.
Sorry.
Later on, when I was 7, then my mother died. Though we never used to stay with our mother, so we never were less concerned. So what happened?
How did you go to a seminary school?
I joined the seminary school with the help of my uncle, who later on maybe finances never worked on well on his side.
Okay.
But within that period, different people, different women used to approach me, or at the same time not approaching me, but sending money.
Wow.
To the basa.
When you're at school?
When I'm at school.
You see a gift coming.
Coming, or later on a letter coming. Some
love letter?
Love letters.
From those old women?
But they never used to tell me what exactly
they wanted.
But they thought as if they can take care of me. They thought as if they can take care of me. And secondly, they used to say I'm a smart boy, I'm very well behaved, not knowing the agenda, what they have behind.
So in short, they used to flirt with you?
They used to flirt with me.
Wow. So how did that make you feel, the fact that someone would come in a way that they want to support you, but again they had such kind of hidden agendas? Were you even able to tell at that time that they had such kind of bad intentions?
I came to realize this at the end of my semester when I was already in a vacation school doing tourism and hotel management.
Wow.
Different women used to approach me still, paying my tuition, at the same time give me tokens, or let's say gifts. But one day, one of them invited me to her home. After reaching her home, this woman says, after having a meal together, then at the time of leaving, because I was supposed to get back to school and continue with my studies, then this woman tells me that, you know, John Mary, I've been always preparing you to become a husband. Then I felt so disappointed, so much disappointed. Then I was like, you know, I am not ready for that. And I strongly told her that, you know, I am not ready for that.
Where did you get the courage, you know, for someone, they had planned, they had taken their time. Where did you get the courage to be able to assertively say no?
Because the reason that's why I said no, it was, though it was a struggle, but I always tried my level best to get what I wanted through working. I was a photographer. I used to move around town taking passports. I used to go to different schools taking pictures, and I used to make money.
Wow. So in short, you see, that's sexual harassment, and it's very hard sometimes to explain to someone that a boy child or a man can be sexually harassed.
It's
how were you able to move away from this and move forward?
I decided to leave it that way. I did not tell any person because I know I never had anyone talk to. Then I decided to move on. I left it at that. Then I decided not to accept gifts from any other person. Then slowly I discovered myself. I started looking for jobs. After looking for jobs, sometimes I used to get, sometimes I don't get. But whenever I could reach any person, since I was studying from the seminary, people used to embrace me. They give me what to do. So when I also started, I enrolled myself. I became a local tour guide. I started approaching different organizations for contracts.
Wow.
So that's why I used to get my money slowly, buy what I wanted.
And you started supporting yourself.
School, I started supporting myself. That's how
that's
I
amazing.
managed to overcome that.
What would be your message to a young boy child out there? Because there are many that are going through what you went through, but they don't have the courage to even come right here and talk about it. Your message, please.
Every young person out there, I know there are many people who are going through the same challenge, but they cannot say it, or sometimes they don't want to say it, or sometimes they admit, or sometimes they enjoy the game. But I would want to let you know that you are more important than anyone else, or you can be important more than anybody else. And I would strongly tell you that focus on what you're doing, find yourself, and the future will be bright.
The stories that we've been so much hearing is old men paying school fees for young girls, and then when they grow up or after university, they expect those girls to get married to them. But you can be surprised, the same narrative coming from you know, a young man right here with us. So basically the same way as we are empowering the girl child, we don't have to forget about the boy child. Let's look out for our brothers the same way as we look out for our sisters. You're still watching Youth of Purpose, a show that is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism, Core Office of the President, under the theme Uganda First. Being your sisters and brothers keeper is a patriotic role.
Men also go through challenges, but we have been neglecting them. So these challenges need to be addressed. In patriotism, we are trying to empower younger boys with knowledge, skills on how to manage themselves, and also to change their mindset. And in their mindset, we normally base on attitude. We show the younger people the wrong element when they deal with wrong peer groups. And we also teach them on how to avoid such wrong elements to be transformed into useful citizens. So the meaning of this day is really to show that even men need to be looked at in a special way, the way we look at ladies. In our discussion today, we had a question where somebody asked that, do women beat men or it is men who beat women? And To my observation, we have realized that there are some men who are being harassed by ladies, but because of their maybe position in the government, they keep quiet. When ladies commit some offense, it is easy to report a man, but in most cases it is not easy for a man to report a lady. So in such a way, we need to see how best younger people can be helped to grow up as useful people. In order to achieve that, we are trying to bring several partners on board from organizations which can really inculcate good cultural norms in these children so that they grow up also as younger people who are not neglected. One of them is the AIDS Information Center. We are sensitizing them to avoid social behaviors which can expose them to AIDS or any STDs or STIs by using any available resources to protect themselves from such problems. We also use patriotism to teach them several activities which can enable them to generate income. When the children are redundant, the behaviors change. But now when we have them occupied with the skills, those skills keep them busy, and whatever they generate out of their skills can also make somebody to change behaviors, because whatever they have will be protected jealously. The nation needs transformed people in order to move forward. So we are working hard to see that this is achieved in Uganda through patriotism trainings, through scouting, and through voluntarism.
Men should be empowered. One of the reasons why they should be empowered is because we all know for a fact that they are the heads of the family. They are the main decision makers in our families and in our lives. And also, when you look at a girl who has been empowered, they equally need an empowered gentleman so that they can together bring up a family. It's very important for us to understand that being empowered does not mean you are superior. It means you're humble enough to understand the environment that you live in, but also provide an enabling environment for other men to also be exemplary in society. So empowering a man is empowering a nation. So when we have empowered men and empowered women, we have a very beautiful nation. We have a nation that is going ahead. I am an empowered woman because my husband is an empowered man. Can you imagine if I had a husband who was not empowered? He would be very insecure. He would be very angry at me. But because my husband is empowered, he's able to let me do my role in this society. Let me play my constructive role in the society because he's empowered. So let us empower our boys so that they are secure in us as empowered women.
My name is Professor Maggie Chigozi. I am the Chief Scout of Uganda, and I have been part of the organization of this year's 2021 International Men's Day. We are excited as women actually, because we have seen the challenge. Women got together over the years. We recognize the problems of women and girls. And now you see the women are moving up and they are changing. Now what has happened is the men have not moved at the same pace. The men do not understand the modern woman. They are expecting the wife that their grandfather had. So we knew we needed to go back and force and support the young boys and the young men to be able to cope with the kind of young women we had created. We therefore today are very happy to work with so many partners who care about boys. We have, the Scouts, of course. We have both boys and girls. Some of the other organizations have other only boys. But we are here all together to celebrate the boy and to ensure that we sign off that we will support the boy child. I hope parents have a big role in the life of the boy child, especially the dad. Most children, boy children, copy their fathers. They are the role models. So we start at home. What kind of father role model is that one? So we start at home, and we would like to see the father be a good role model. He should not show that he is too harsh. The young children here have told us some fathers beat. Father comes home, all of you run away because sometimes he is very, very violent. We have heard stepmothers can be very bad, even mothers sometimes. So we need to start at home. Let's start with the families. Let the family respect the boy and help the boy to become the kind of man who is responsible, who is hardworking, who is ethical, and our country will improve. Yes.
My name is Dr. Lydia Mungerera, and I'm the Executive Director of the Mamas Club Uganda. It's time now to celebrate the gains, the contributions of men in our country. It's time for us to try to see how we can engage men as partners in the fight against violence, sexual and gender-based violence. Also, as part of joining together with the women's rights movements, working together in partnership to try to stop violence against women. It's time now to look at the adolescent boy. If you want to get a responsible man, you've got to start him when he's still young. And that's what we believe. That's why today we decided to celebrate with a theme, mentoring adolescent boys into becoming responsible gentlemen. Let us go out there and groom our boys, mentor them, nurture them, and make them into the men we want them to become. Let's work with them, with parents and families, to mentor these boys, because they sit within families. Let's work with parents. See, how do we bring up a boy? How do we train a boy? How do we mentor him? But at the same time, let's protect them against harsh against abuse themselves. Let us look at boys in different settings. Today we had the street children here, and they told their stories. We had the Scouts, they told their stories. We had young people telling their stories. Give them that audience and listen to them. Another
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Come with me.
So get your GoCoder and GoTV value for 25,000 shillings to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our